Hey everybody, welcome back to the U.S. Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, David Goss. Coming up in a minute, you will be hearing from my co-host, Alejandro Bedoya, who was lucky enough to sit down with U.S. men's national team manager Mauricio Pochettino on the eve of the Gold Cup final. So we have that full interview coming up, as well as some post-game audio from some of the big players on the U.S. men's national team. Of course, that game was Sunday evening in Houston, Texas. It was the U.S. against Mexico in the Gold Cup final. It was the 13th Gold Cup final appearance for the USMNT, and it was an electric game, an electric atmosphere in the final competitive match for both these teams as they prepare to co-host the World Cup next year alongside Canada, and you could feel it in the building at NRG Stadium. It was the early goal from Chris Richards, his second of the tournament, in the 4th minute off Sebastian Berhalter's free kick to give the U.S. the early lead. Mexico was able to equalize midway through the first half through Raul Jimenez and get the late winner to sneak over the line and get the 2-1 win. But this game closed curtains on a 40-day camp comprising 8 matches across every corner of the U.S., from the East Coast to the West Coast to the Midwest, and of course down south to finish things off in Texas. Mauricio Pochettino, after the final, called the tournament a massive lesson for him and his staff, learning a lot about new players and about this team. Before the match, Alejandro Bedoya spoke with Pochettino on what it meant for him to make it to his first tournament final as head coach of the U.S. men's national team and how he saw the group come together during this international window. For more, let's go to Alejandro Bedoya in his conversation with Pochettino.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the pod. It's my pleasure to say that I've had the privilege to be able to have a conversation with the head coach of the U.S. men's national team, Mauricio Pochettino. Mauricio, thank you so much for your time. How are you doing the weekend? How are you enjoying the 4th of July?
You're welcome. Yes, we are enjoying a lot. I think nice burger, nice hot dog, and good music. Yeah, celebrating the 4th of July. And yes, it's nice because I think it's my first time in USA in the 4th of July, and yes, enjoying with all the people, with all the staff, players, and all the people that are involved in this amazing federation.
Let me start off with it's been almost a year now since you made the decision to coach the U.S. men's national team. How have you and the staff enjoyed this experience?
Yes, I think we are really enjoying. It's an amazing experience for us. We are learning a lot. I think it was an amazing decision for us. Wasn't easy because you know very well that the passion about to be involved every day on the pitch with the players and in a different dynamic always is not easy. But I think that what we are thinking is we took a very good decision nearly 1 year ago, and we are enjoying a lot because we find a very good people. That is the most important thing first in the federation, people that want improve together, that want to learn together, that we want to create something special, a journey together. That is why we are enjoying. And then, of course, we need to compete, and we need to create a team that can compete in the level that we expect. But I think little by little, we are trying to, all together, to try to understand what it means to defend and to play for a national team like a USA that always require from everyone the best. We are representing a country that always want to be the best in every single thing that they are doing and everything. And that is why I think in soccer we need to have, or we are responsible to create that mentality. And I think we are in a process, still 1 year for the World Cup, in a very good process, and we are happy in the way that the things are going. And I think last tournament now that is the first time that we have time to work more than 1 month, and I think we start to see how improve the things.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you talked about taking on the role and creating something special, right? So I'd ask you, when you look back at this summer's Gold Cup, what are you most proud of for you and the staff being able to accomplish, as well as working with this group of players?
Yeah, the most thing that I think we all feel proud about the journey was from the day one. I think because the energy when we announced the roster, the player, how they decide to come, the commitment, the attitude. We were talking today, until a few days to the final. But when we start 1st of June, you never think that how time flies quick, because sometimes something can happen. No, in all the clubs that we were before, even when we were in a pre-season for 2 weeks or a few days, always something happen in between staff, or in between players, or in between player and staff and player, coaches and staff, coaches and player. But after more than 1 month, I can tell you that never we have an issue with in our relationship. That means that time flies so quick, and we are right to the end, and it's a little bit sad because we want to play the final, we want to win the final, but at the same time we are seeing the end of this journey together. And I think the good thing that is going to keep always for this group, for this roster of players, for all the staff, for us, keeping our memory. What happened, I think, is going to be always a good memories, how we spend a very good time together, and that is priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and obviously from previous experience myself, I understand how when you're with the same group, the same players for such a long period of time, you really do build on these special bonds. And when that's where you talk about creating a culture comes in, and everybody's pushing for the same goals and pushing each other. And speaking of pushing each other, we've seen the importance of competition, right? We're creating more competition within different roster spots and different positions. So how important is a tournament like the Gold Cup for the players on this roster right now for the Gold Cup, and also for those who weren't part of this camp, both playing in MLS and for those playing abroad?
Look, I go back and in January when we made the roster to play 2 games against Costa Rica and Venezuela and Costa Rica. And look now, nearly 6 months after, plenty of the players that were there are involved today in the Gold Cup. I think no one can predict, that players are going to be very important of the World Cup in summer. But that happened. And I think the most important is to provide the belief and to give the belief and trust to the player. The player always, that when you call the player for a friendly games, for a January camp, or for different reasons, I think we need to provide the belief, provide the capacity for them to think, if I do my job and I do well, if you deserve to come, for sure you are going to come. They need to feel that we trust and the confidence that is not because we call, because we need, to bring players and happen what happened after we are going to call another, or to build another road, or they didn't feel that cannot be possible to take the opportunity. And that is, for me, is the most important thing. That is why I think today, working during 1 month, I think players that, Diego Luna or Patrick Agyemang or Max or Sebastian or Luca that are playing in the MLS, they are paying a lot of attention from different European clubs, different countries. And now people start to think, why not be part of the next year in the summer? And that is because January camp was really important to really see the players, see how they behave, personalities, character, and of course, quality on the pitch. And I think is really important, for the future to keep translating that idea that always been named in the roster for the national team. Always is an opportunity, and it's not only to come to enjoy a few days, in USA. That is, I think, what the players start to understand, the staff too. And now, I think the most important is that is in the way the USA men national team way. That is close. What we wanted, to translate to this, team and start to create a team. And I think it's going, for me, until 1 year, I think it's easy. The player that will add in the future, different player or the same player, and they know what we are going to expect from them. And then it's about to deliver it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I couldn't agree more with allowing players to have different opportunities. And January camp is never a wasted chance, because this gives you the ability and your staff to see other players, how they fit maybe with your system. And speaking of players that and their opportunities, you mentioned Diego Luna being one of them. I think he's been a player, obviously, with his recent performances that the U.S. men's national team fan base has really fallen in love with and admired for various reasons, not just his technical ability, but I think his energy and that American mentality, if you will, right? Everybody remembers the video of him, bloody nose and everything, and you're asking if he's okay, and he's like, yeah, get me in there, coach, What do you see in him exactly, and what is his potential?
Yeah, it's difficult to describe. I think people that we are involved in for many years. I was a player, but then for many years now, like coaches, I think, and always our coaching staff or my coaching staff, always is that capacity, not only knowledge about the game, because I think that is already that we have, is normally supposed to have. And then is this talent that, like a coaching staff, that you can smell the projection of the player. You can see how the player can evolve, and that is how you project, a player, the idea. So that is, I think, the most important skill in a coaching staff. And I think when, in that case, we always talk that the credit always is the player, But I think from us is to detect the potential of the player and give the confidence, and then the confidence to take the opportunity. In the case of Diego, I think that we saw the hunger, the desire, the passion, that mix in between a nice guy but naughty when he play, and competitive, and cry if he cannot play. I think to remember us a little bit when we grow up in Argentina or in Spain or in different environment, in a country like USA, and that wild part of him, I think we pay attention because we connect very well, because we behave in this way, and that connection, I think, make us to think that maybe we found some player that can translate all that we were, trying to show to the player, that in the way that we want, in the way that we expect, to the player behave. And I think, look, for me, that is the most important thing, because after we talk about technique, tactic, all of this type of thing that are important, but I think in a parallel way, you need player with the desire and this type of attitude, that being very competitive to translate, like coaching staff, the idea of in the way that we want to play. That is, if we don't have the desire, the energy, the attitude, the resilience, and everything that is about will, you can propose and you can be the most intelligent guy, the most intelligent coaching staff, that you work very well, but on the end, if you don't have the players translate your ideas on the pitch, it's impossible to win. We don't win games, the player always. They deserve the credit. Only we can help, to find the best way to perform.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's it's very funny. You just ended with all these lines because that was leading into exactly the next question I had for you. Because you rightfully so, I guess you gave the players a lot of credit, but of course the coach plays a big role in that, right? And I was gonna get a little technical with you, not necessarily talking tactics and systems.
No, yeah, we can talk tactic also. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because I think more. I think for me as a player too is more importantly, like you said, is the philosophy and the principles of play that you are given to the players. So my next question was going to be, what are those non-negotiable principles that you look to implement and to get the players to understand when playing in certain games? Because those are very important, no matter if you play a 3-5-2, a 4-4-2, you know. So I think knowing you as a coach in your past, I think these are some of the principles that are very important to you, and I'd just like to hear, for the fans to hear from you too.
yeah. No, what I think we learn every day is everything can be negotiable. I think, and for us always we will be always more flexible about I think everything in a tactical question too, because I think we need to provide the player the possibility to make decisions inside to the pitch. And that is the most difficult. The most easier thing is to be very strict and very inflexible and to say, okay, you move from point A to point B, B, C, and when you receive the ball, you play with D and move like this. Yes, you can do this. But I think we are not talking about robots, we are talking about people and person that have feelings and emotion, and I think the most important is to try to translate the possibility to understand the game and after, to play with their talent and to find solutions inside to the pitch, because it's too many factors that have influence on the game. But of course, that after talking about tactic, we can, what things that we like, because how we feel football. That is the most important. We like to have the possession. We like to build from back. We like to play in the opposite half. Be aggressive when we lose the ball. Press quick. Play far to our goal. Many things like this that I think that are our principle. But and then it's about to be intelligent, because when, for different reasons, sometimes the team cannot develop the game that we want, it's about to be intelligent, because that game is about to win. And it's a different way that you can find. If the most aesthetic for us is to play along the grass, is our build-up with 3 or with 2 or with 1 midfielder, 1 fullback that go to the defensive line. And yes, always is, in the way that we scored the goal again, I don't know, Costa Rica, that is an example, playing from back, find half a space in between the line, the connection, rotation in front, and then moving the ball, arrive the fullback and be toward to the keeper and score. That is how we feel football. But if sometimes we are not feeling that we can play in this way, sometimes we can jump, some direct ball, a pass, long pass to the striker that can connect with our midfielder, and from there play in the opposite. I think we are not at Taliban's of that is the way, that is not in the way, we cannot play. No, I think football you can play in different way and all are okay. And that is, for me, being respectful with all the ideas and understand that is in the way that we feel football or soccer is in this way, but when that is not possible, I think we need to have different way to play, no?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to take what the game gives you, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like how has it been to travel to all these different American cities and you see the cultural diversity of America, and also
Yes.
I guess to
No, I am in love. I am in love with USA and the culture and the cities and every single place we really enjoy with the people. I think Nashville was amazing. St. Louis was amazing until to the game. I seen, I don't know, Minneapolis, Chicago, New York, Austin, Dallas. I think Hartford we didn't see too much because we arrive and play and go and move quick. But I think in every single place that we were visiting, the people was very warm, very nice. I think we need to encourage our fans to follow more the national team. The players deserve that our fans come and help, because the energy, like was against Guatemala, for the Guatemala team was amazing, the energy, and we need to create that atmosphere for the World Cup. I think we need the help of our fans, soccer fans. I think there are a lot of fans soccer rather to be at home in the sofa, come to the stadium and share the emotion with the team. That is going to be amazing. Please yes. come to the stadium. That is really important for the players.
Yeah, I want to see that passion come out of Americans as well, cheering our team on. And one more question now then, speaking of the fan base and everything like that, what's the one thing, Coach, that you hope people say about the U.S. team after the World Cup next summer?
What do you think is my expectation after that? That is you are asking me.
Yeah, like what's the one thing you hope people say after it's all said and done? The World Cup, the team has played everything, and with the Gold Cup's over, everything's done. The World Cup has gone by. What's the one thing you think hope people say or take away from the team?
My wish and I hope that after the World Cup, the people will get the passion that this team and us we feel for that sport, that is soccer. I think is that we want to build. We want to build until to the World Cup, and after the World Cup, I think that is going to be the best reward for everyone that here in the federation that today we are part. Because I think that sport is, for me, is everything. I know we said that that football in my country, soccer here, is a context of emotion. And to create emotions, you need to come to the stadium and see the player and the team how transmit emotion, and every single tackle and every single dribbling and every single shoot and every single save and when you score. I think we need to translate to the fans that emotion that we feel when we play, when you are a child and play, and it's everything for you, means a lot, means everything, and that I think is the most important thing that can happen. Of course, if we lift the trophy, amazing. If we are capable to compete with the big size, amazing. But I think because of the potential of this country, that in everything that you propose and USA proposes is amazing, because you will get, and I think is to really understand what it means to be a fans of soccer, what means that sport, what means for the player to feel the support from the fans. And I think if we are capable of that, that is in the moment that we can say we are going to be, I don't know how you say imparables in English, or unstoppable.
Unstoppable, yeah.
Unstoppable, because the potential here is massive.
Just after the match in Houston, we caught up with several U.S. men's national team players to get their instant reactions, including Tyler Adams, who earned his 50th cap in the match Sunday against Mexico, becoming the 65th player to reach the half-century mark for the USMNT.
I think coming into this camp, the There was a lot of obviously outside noise, but it didn't waver the group once. I'm so proud of a lot of the young guys that came in and stepped up. Everyone proved their worth to this national team and represented the crest in the best way possible.
We also spoke with Matt Freese, the shootout hero for the U.S. in the quarterfinals against Costa Rica, who came up big with 6 saves in the final on Sunday against Mexico.
I think there's a lot of positives, a lot of building blocks to come out of this summer, out of this tournament. Losing like that in the end, is never fun. It's very painful. But hopefully the seeds for what is to come, were planted this summer.
We chatted with Patrick Agyemang, the Iron Man of 2025, the only player to appear in all 12 matches for the USMNT this calendar year.
I think just the commitment to each day and the brotherhood we built. I think you saw in the games we were fighting for each other every opportunity we could, and I think that's definitely a formula for success in the future, as long as we keep fighting for each other and playing the way we know we can. Football can be cruel, and we know that. So now we know as long as we stay committed to what our goals are and focus on what we can control, we know anything's possible. So we just got to continue to learn each day and develop each time.
And of course, we had to talk with Chris Richards, who scored twice off headers this tournament, including that opening goal against Mexico in the 4th minute.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that we went toe-to-toe with a good Mexico side. I think before the tournament, a lot of people wanted to count us out, and maybe rightfully so. I think we've had an interesting last half a year, maybe full year, with Copa America involved as well. But regardless, I'm really proud of how the squad acted throughout the whole tournament, but also how we played. And we never gave up on each other, even when maybe we had some low points of the tournament. I think we kept going. We had our heads up, and we put a lot of passion and pride in playing for the country.
And finally, the captain, veteran center back Tim Ream, who led this team in every match of the Gold Cup.
Yeah, I think the thing I'm most proud about is the growth in all the guys. We came in with a lot of question marks, and guys stepped up and answered. And what we did on and off the field, the togetherness, the fight, the like I said, the sticking up for each other in a lot of moments. I'm most proud of that. I think after 5 weeks, you can start to get a little bit touchy, kind of angsty with each other, and you know what? I've seen it in 3 previous Gold Cups, and there was nothing like that. Everybody was right there, arm in arm, ready to go, ready to battle for each other from the first day to today, and I think that's what I'm most proud about is the guys, coming together as a group and really, using that to our advantage and using that in the games.
As we close the chapter on the 2025 Gold Cup, here's one fact to leave you all with. Sunday's final between the U.S. and Mexico marked exactly 340 days to the start of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. That's right. In less than a year, the world's biggest soccer tournament is coming to American soil, and you could feel it at NRG Stadium. It was a World Cup atmosphere, it was a World Cup environment, and you saw it in the intensity and the play. We are going to have an incredible 2026 coming up, and of course, we're going to cover all of it here at the US Soccer Podcast.